Hello, hello, Opulence Global Nation. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Rico Filao here, all the way from Southeast Asia, Philippines. And of course, we'd like to welcome each and everyone who just tuned in. And of course, it's Tuesday evening for Canada, and it's Wednesday morning here in Asia. And of course, we always look forward to this Tuesday and Wednesday calls because of our founder and CEO, who will be joining us for our Forensic Networker call. So we'd like to welcome each and everyone who joined us here. Hello, hello to each and every one of you. I hope you are all doing well. Let us know where you're tuning in from so we can greet you and acknowledge you on this call, as this is one of the most, very valuable call that we are attending each and every single week, sharing the different information when it comes to how we can improve our life, our business, and that's what the Forensic Networker call is all about. So welcome, welcome to each and everyone. Hello, CEO Ramin. Good morning, good evening to you.
Hello, hello, hello. Forensic night, everybody.
Forensic evening to you, CEO. And of course, what an exciting time for Opulence Global. And as I see a lot of our partners now tuning in and joining in. Hello, Natamon, all the way
But you know
from
what,
Thailand.
though? Excited and energized, I can tell you something. That's not when success happens. If you're excited and energized, that means you just got started.
Mm.
It's easy to be excited when you're fresh. It's hard to be excited when you put in 16 hours and you've done it for 35 years. That's the state of champions. So E&E is probably where the rubber meets the road to success. Because that's when people quit. They want time off. They want to relax.
Yes, and one thing, Ramin, that I have seen, especially when you're on the field, is that when you are working, you don't feel the exhaustion right at that moment. You just feel
Yeah.
like it's exciting. It's
Brilliant. Yeah.
yeah, and then you feel it right afterwards.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, you know what I mean. I think we should need to get started. And again, partners, guests all around the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And of course, welcome to our Forensic Networker training. And today is a very important session together with our founder and CEO. But let me just give you a brief background of who our CEO is. Our CEO Ramin is actually the founder and opulence of CEO and founder of Opulence Global, and he is our visionary in the direct sales industry. With more than 3 decades of experience, he built four multi-million-dollar businesses as a master distributor, achieving self-made millionaire status at the age of 25. Imagine that. And in 2005, he launched Global Wealth Trade, which later became Opulence Global in 2017. And his experience extends to developing compensation plans, advanced training systems, and strategic partnerships. He's driven by a commitment to empower entrepreneurs globally, and has created over a dozen millionaires through his training and inspiration. CEO Ramin's accomplishments span beyond the business world. He won the World Wrestling Championship at 16 and holds 112 wrestling medals. And Opulence Global has received numerous industry accolades and awards. And CEO Ramin is recognized as a top direct sales influencer, featured in the Network Marketing Hall of Fame, and authored the Forensic Networker, and which is the industry's ultimate training system. So without further ado, let me introduce to you to be our trainer for this evening. Let me welcome our founder and CEO, Mr. Ramin Mesgarlou. Take it away, Sir Ramin.
Wow, look at you. We got two execs, hey, we got Danielle on board as well. We got three. Wow, we should charge for this session. How much would you pay for this session? We throw some money, make us feel good, at least emotionally. Don't worry, we won't charge you e-wallets. So how much would you pay for this session? You've got the top people on here right now.
Hello, Danny.
Good evening. I'm excited. Every time I hear our host saying the bios, it gets me excited. And Ramin, our CEO here, like, who gets it better than this? The actual CEO training every week for weekly sessions, Ramin. But Let me tell you, this was actually planned. Rico and I wanted to be on these calls for the next couple of weeks because we know you guys are getting ready to go on our amazing cruise. And we thought, you know what, this is going to be a good timing for us to be hosting these calls. Also, because we are actually running a very incredible program, Ramin, that you actually launched a couple of years ago. And we wanted to bring it out loud to our partners to get them encouraged to participate on these programs, which is the host certification, the qualified presenter, and of course, becoming a qualified trainer in our company. So we thought, okay, let's take these calls for a couple of weeks, get our team revamped and excited, and of course, give you guys a break while you enjoy the cruise.
Well, you know what? I look forward to that. And although it's not really relaxation when you're with 100 of your family members, and of course you're meeting them, and and spending time together, and probably a lot of questions and pictures, and taking care of them, right? And we embrace that. We embrace that. This may be the very last cruises on as Nikon. I said that last time, and but then I wanted to make sure to do both sides, so we east and the west. So after this, somebody else from the corporate will be there, and we may show up at times where we really need to. We have a new baby to build, and that's designer token that's going to change the world. So that it's so interesting to watch this baby do its thing in these different exchanges, and I'm doing AMA sessions. We set it up all week long. AMAs ask me anything in these Telegram groups, and it's like building a whole new business. The difference between this one, then the first time I did it with Opulence, I was already a top ranked distributor in the industry. So there was nothing I didn't know. I knew exactly what I needed to build. It was a lot of work, but I was confident at it. This time I'm a student, night and day student, so it's a lot tougher this time because I fall asleep literally with the phone in my hand. It falls on my chest, boom. And my phone is a double, it's a fold. And, it actually hurts. It hits you in the face. So you won't be sleeping that night. So, but I have a lot to learn. And I know you have a lot to learn. So I thought I will, let's get on this. And I have another call after this. This is the fifth one. I think
we want to learn
today.
too, Ramin. So
5 today. All right. So, the longer I'm in this industry, the simpler it becomes. Not because I'm learning things in MLM, it's because I'm looking at it differently. Now, some people are very skilled and they can have that outlook right away. It doesn't have to take 35 years. Some people come in and they hit out the park because they get it. Some people come in like me, who didn't get it, but worked really, really hard and got there. Some people never get it. So it is what it is. But for me, the framework of success in MLM is not that difficult. We probably talked about the same things in different variations of it in the last 35 years. So it's execution that's the issue. So you're going to hear some stuff tonight. Can you execute it? And that's a problem. That's a real problem for people. It's a problem for somebody who's been in business for a month, or someone's been here for 30 years. It makes no difference. They both have the same challenge. Similar to, 30-year-old person, 30-year-old network marketer, and a 3-month-old network marketer. They both will have the same issues in life, in gym, in business, in MLM. So because it has to do with our mind. So I had a conversation, and actually, this was a little while ago. I was listening to one of my old recordings, and it was a video that I did. I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago. And I was doing a webinar for Iran. And I have huge followings in Iran. Like we set a record, Zoom record in Iran. We had 5,400 lines. And many of these lines were groups of 50 and 100. And it's incredible. The team there, the network marketers in Iran, very motivated. New market, so very motivated. Anyway, so somebody was saying, okay, well, how do I make it? And people always looking for that magic pill, right? And honestly, you already know what to do. You already know what to do. That's the thing. You really do know what to do. If you've been here for more than 3 weeks, everything's in the back office, prosperity book, next 30 days. So it's not denying the fact that you already know what to do, leaves you in state of confusion. You know, it's almost like it's a handle, it's an excuse, because, well, I really don't know what to do. It's not true. You really do know what to do. It's not a complicated business, and so it comes down to the execution side of it. But tonight, I don't really want to talk about that. The second part of the all I did is like, why, you know, why do people not do what they're supposed to do, or worse, quit, right? Or worse, quit. So, you know, I guess, you know, everything's mental, right? You can fall and hurt yourself. I remember Cyrus, he was younger, so he was always a little rascal. He wanted, so we had to see him on the little vacation, and he had his bicycle, and I had mine, and he wanted to race me. I think he was like 5 or 6 years old, and so we go to the clubhouse, the parking lot, and we going around, and we said 12 rounds. We're going around. Right on the 12th round, he really wants to win. So, and I'm staying right with him. He's about 5 or 6 years old, and then he went on the corner. It was Dusty. He slipped. He slipped badly. Poor guy. Oh. Even now, like so he's got scrapes and bleeding in his legs, and just, you know, and of course I'm freaking out. You know, he's crying at first, and of course I called 911 mom. I said, like, you know, so she shows up with a bag, and literally within 2 minutes, he's completely fine. And he's still bleeding and everything else, but he's completely fine. And on the way home, little rascal, he's with mom's truck, and I'm riding the bike. He puts the windows up. Bubba, you want to race? So he's still, and so the whole point is this: when you get adversities, right? What is your pain tolerance? It just comes to that. What is your pain tolerance? You know, when you are discouraged, what's your pain tolerance? When you are demotivated because you're in activity, what is your pain tolerance? You know, is your pain tolerance high enough to get over the demotivation and get yourself motivated? You know, is your pain tolerance above, you know, that few rejections? And is your pain tolerance above the fear of getting a rejection? So that's what it comes down to. What is your pain tolerance? You know, in forensic, I have a terminology for that. I call it become a mental warrior. Forensics, I have a whole chapter on that in forensic book, the forensic mental warrior. So why the pain tolerance matter? Because the pain tolerance gets you go longer than the norm. The pain tolerance makes you go longer, faster than the norm. The pain tolerance helps you hang in there longer, stay in the race. You know, if you don't have the pain tolerance, then I guess you give in to that. You know, Cyrus fell, full of blood everywhere. I have a picture of that, actually. I should put it on here. It was pretty messy. Oh God. And he was like 5 or 6 years old. Well, 5 minutes later, he puts the window down. Boy, you want to race? So, you can see his pain tolerance is high, right? And we see that now with his basketball and so forth. But see, the truth is, if somebody says, well, you know, the tree doesn't fall, that the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, I don't believe that. I believe everyone's got this in them. And it's like everything else. It's like, so, you know, who you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with a bunch of people who do not have a high pain tolerance, well, automatically you don't have it either. You know, when you see the boys in the Marines, right? The training to become the Marines, right? Everyone's got a high pain tolerance over there, right? because that's the environment. Even the one who got there, who didn't have it at first, within that environment, then he steps up. So you got to question yourself, what is your pain tolerance for business? What is your pain tolerance for success? You know, because success only comes after adversity, right? I mean, if success was around, then I guess everybody would be there, right? It's not around because you have to dig for it. It comes after. So in order to dig for it and go through adversity, you need pain tolerance. So whether it's in sports, whether it's in business, you know, the main trait of a champion is not skill, because the skill part is not really that hard to acquire, even in sports. You know, when you look at the world champions, when I was wrestling, there's any sport, they don't have 500 moves or plays. They got a half a dozen, but they do it 5,000 times. They're very good at execution side of it. So the main trait of a champion is not skills. It's being able to hang in there more longer than most people. Because we know most people won't get there, right? We know what the target is there. That was proven 80 years ago. Success in the MLM, the target's already there. We know it because lots of people have done it. So the question is, you know, who gets there and how long does it take? Well, the timeline is longer than other people, right? Because a lot of people will not hang in there. They don't have the pain tolerance. So maybe that's 10%. I mean, when you look at people are sprinting in the Olympics, right? They're all professionals. The guy who wins the Olympics sprinting, he's not 100% faster than the rest of them, right? He's not. Maybe he's 5% faster. Maybe he is 10% faster. Okay, maybe you're that Jamaican flyer that I call a flyer because he flies. What's his name? He's got a nice name. You guys know what it is. Put his name here. Maybe he's 20% faster, right? But he's not 100% faster. And business is the same way. That's right, Mr. Bull, right? So business is the same way. You know, the guy who goes and makes, you know, and makes millions of dollars in this, he's not 100% or 200% or smarter than you. He's not, right? He's lasted longer. He's got a higher pain tolerance than you. So when adversity hits in, or he's having a bad day, or he got a bad phone call, he doesn't get taken out of the game. No, he needs me time. I gotta pamper myself because I'm in a bad mood now. I mean, that's everybody, right? That's the rest. We call them the rest. The people who are always looking, searching, seeking excuses not to be at the top of the game. They couldn't get out of the way of excuses if it they just run into it all the time. So how long does it take? Well, just a little bit longer than the rest. That's all. You see, in the job scene, everybody finishes pretty much the same way, right? That's why everyone's pretty much the same. That's what they call it, the middle class, you know. There's a lot of people there, you know. So, and then you've got the top, right? And well, how long did it take for the top to get there? Well, a little bit longer than middle class, because middle class can't stop where they're at, and they decide they're not going to stop. They're going to go about 10% more, maybe that 15 or 20% more in knowledge, execution, pain, tolerance, When everybody could quit, they kept going. When everybody needed me time, they kept going. When everybody took time off to have a pity party, they kept going. So what's your pain tolerance? Right? So I think people ask me all the time, like I'm still at work, right? Last night I was working at 3:45 a.m. Literally fell asleep at my desk. So I'm gonna go to bed. I didn't go to my bedroom because I'm not sleeping because there was this one video I said to watch. So I went to the other room, tried to, and boom, I was so tired, but I had to finish that video. And one thing I found out was, and it was a crypto video. Don't think I'm watching a movie or something. You know, I'm just always seeking these answers. So I guess I have very high pain tolerance. And that didn't start, I don't know, wrestler, maybe I have some, but I can tell you, when I saw an MLM, it hurt when people said no. I can tell you a story right now. I can tell you a story now that how many people right now, they know me. Some of them were my boys. I raised them basically. They worked for me. And when I launched Exit, and they thought it wasn't going to work. So it's interesting, you know, and here we are. It's doing amazing. And so I get no's even today. You know, if I don't have a high pain tolerance, I quit. That's a rejection. I quit. You know, I put together a little group to launch Exit, and you know, the people I thought they would know me for all these years, and what I raised them, you know, they worked for me, and they thought the name was bad. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, it never changes, huh? It never changes. You know, so I guess maybe if I have something, it's pain tolerance. And it's not something that I always had, because I remember when I first got started in MLM, when people said, no, I'm a wrestler, right? And sometimes they were rude. You know, they're not nice about it. Sometimes they're rude. And as a 20-year-old champion wrestler, when someone was rude, the only thing I could think of is remove a couple of ribs. Right? So this is what you think about, you know, and because this guy, can you guys see this? I can't see. I'll do this one. That was a newspaper in Montreal Gazette against the American. Anyway, because this guy, when I got a rejection, I wasn't thinking being nice. And but you can't break everyone's neck. So I mean, you can break few. you can, you know, I need a lot of people to join me, so you can't keep breaking necks, you know, removing ribs, you know. So I had to learn to keep it inside and learn how to package it, because something that used to piss me off days, literally days. And by the way, I don't forget, I can tell you some funny stories about that. But something that used to keep me off days, maybe a week, I learned to package it that would bother me a couple of days, not a week. Then I learned to package it that would bother me in 1 day, not 2 days. So whether that was a rejection or somebody disappointed me or quit or whatever the case was, the things that used to keep me off for days and weeks, and I learned to package it that would be a few hours. Then I learned to package it, it would take an hour before I can recover. It's like a good athletes, right? They recover faster, right? They take nutrition, they got all this stuff. They do, you know, in professional leagues, they got all these physiotherapists and all these trainers to recover faster, right? And eventually I learned to package it. The things that used to bother me for days, it bothered me for minutes, then 30 seconds, then the same thing. Within 15 seconds, I'm up and running. So my pain tolerance went up. And I wanted it to go up because I'm not one of those guys that kind of love my own pity. I don't. I know there's people out there that love having pity parties. They love having the pities. And I don't know what that gets them. I really don't understand what that gets them. But, something about pity parties, what the pity parties, right? And it's just, why me, right? You're pissed off at the world and everyone's whatever, right? One thing about pity parties, when you have it, notice no one comes to it. You're always alone. So if you're gonna have a party that you're the only guest, then don't have that party. I think it's just don't have that party. So I learned a long time ago, if I'm going to be efficient in life, I got to be a mental warrior. What a mental warrior is, have a high pain tolerance towards the things that bothers you, the things that take us off, take our energy, things that are bothering us, right? So, and it takes high pain tolerance to be able to package that, manage that in a way that it could bother you instead of days, 15 seconds. Then you're up and running. So really, this is what it takes. I don't know, this is probably old stat, but last time I checked, maybe it was about 250 million people in MLM, participants in MLM, 250 million. And which means a very small number compared to the world. So we have a lot of people to talk to. And, maybe there is about the top 1% of millionaires. So let's just say top 5% do well. So the 5%, say 5 to 10% that do well, which by the way is a much better stat than a job. It's a much better stat than a job because in companies, 1% can only be the president, right? Only 1%, and there's a couple of maybe senior executives. In an MLM compensation plan, there's not one, right? Everybody can rise up, to those levels. At least it's possible. Not everybody does, but at least it's possible. In a job, it's not even possible. There's only one job of a president, right? So the stats in MLM are actually much better than what the job is. But so the 5 to 10% that get to the top, how did they do it? Well, I can tell you, longevity is the number one thing you need. Be able to last, go through adversities. Well, what do you need to have longevity? Pain tolerance, high pain tolerance. So when you got high pain tolerance, then every day you get up, whether you feel good or bad, just do your thing. Just do your thing. Somebody says, "Yeah, I don't have a good pain tolerance." Yet the same person gets up and goes to work every day, whether he's in a good mood or a bad mood, whether he feels good or bad, whether he's sick or not, he goes to work. So he has pain tolerance. He does it already. But when it comes to his own business, he doesn't have pain tolerance. And here's the thing about pain tolerance. It's a decision, by the way. It really isn't so much about pain because everybody feels the pain. I felt the pain. The question is the recovery. When we say pain tolerance means, can you take it and continue on? Or do you take it and get knocked out? Pain tolerance. The boxers go at it, one gets down. How many times have you seen this, right? Fighters get on, one is just taking the beating, going down. Finally comes back, miraculously wins the fight. Incredible. The guy gets knocked down 5 times, he gets up. He gets a shot on the other guy who went down once, he never got up. Pain tolerance. So that's what happens in MLM. The people who are pain tolerant, high pain tolerance, they just go a little bit longer. That's it. Not even faster. It's a little bit longer. They keep going because the target is there. We know the target is there. In MLM, it's called the compensation plan, right? The target is there. And they keep going. Well, everyone stops here. They keep on going. So where's success? Just above where everyone else stops. It's not that complicated. Maybe the rest, do 4 hours a day, go a little bit more. If the rest, do about 15 hours a week, do a little bit more, do it longer. If the rest lasts 3 to 5 years, do a little bit more, do it longer. The target is there. There is no question whether an MLM compensation plan can work or not. There is no question. That question was answered 80 years ago. 80. The question is, are you going to last a little bit longer? If you're with a good company, then you know it's going to be around like opulence. Then the question is, are you going to, do you have a high pain tolerance to go a little bit longer? Right? So to me, a mental toughness is the bridge between you and success. So being a mental warrior, have high pain tolerance, right, is the bridge between you and the top rank in the compensation plan. You can build that bridge. You learn to package it. The things that bothers you and drains you and want to take you out, learn to package it. Don't love your own pity. Some things happen to me sometimes, and it's not nice. I got hacked one time. Yep. And that's why I'm so paranoid with our exit. So we're doing all kinds of things to make sure. And people say, aren't you angry? Aren't you angry? I lost a lot of money. And this was last year, 2 years ago. You know what? They didn't see the moment that I was angry because I was angry. Listen, I have to go through that so I can protect exit. Had I not gone through that, maybe I wouldn't take it seriously. But I went through that a few years ago, and I was angry. I was angry. But see, it only lasted about not even 15 minutes. I mean, what I lost was tens of thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands. And I was angry. But I was angry for about 10 minutes. And I just learned. See, there's always a positive in every adversity, right? Generally, I'm not that smart to learn always from other people's mistake. I do a lot, but not always. So sometimes I need a kick in the teeth to get it. And that was one of them. So with that, why we took a year to release exit, the token was really a year ago, because I want to make sure as much as we could, we learn as much as we can. We still do, so the whole thing about it is pain tolerance. For you, it's the same thing. My first year in MLM, you've heard the story. here we are 35 years later. 35 years later, I'm telling you a story. My first year in MLM, I quit, almost quit, or I did quit, well, kind of quit, 6 times in the first 9 years. Me quit 6 times in the first 9 months. Sorry, not 9 years, 9 months. I quit 6 times in the first 9 months. 9 months. So the first year was tough. I guess I had high pain tolerance though, because I managed to come back. 6 times I quit in the first 9 months. Was my first gig. Didn't quite understand. I had a restaurant, so I suppose I could have said, hey, you know what? I'm 20 years old. I have a restaurant anyways. Didn't have to take in people's, negativity. But I didn't quit. Now I'm thinking back, I guess I had high pain tolerance. I always called myself a mental warrior. Too stubborn. Not going to quit. Someone else could do it, I could do it. So, see, now I know 35 years later that we're just being tested. I always wanted to retire at age 30 as a millionaire. Well, pretty bold statement. And when you start to ask for those things from God, God says, yeah. Let's see. Let's see. You get tested. I got tested 5 times or 6 times in the first 9 months. Can you imagine how that quit? In one of those 6 times, I actually could not get over it. If I didn't have the high pain tolerance to get back at it, had I quit one of those times, you wouldn't know me right now. You wouldn't know who I am. Had I taken the road of quitting one of those 6 times in the first 9 months, right now you wouldn't know who I am. And opulence wouldn't exist today. 20, what? Close to one time we sat down and figured out all the teams that built over time, the conference calls, the people that got on, and not even fully through it, we estimate over 1 million people have heard me talk. Because I made a decision to have high pain tolerance and not quit. And since then, I've had like hundreds of times I've faced adversities. Hundreds of times. I'm gonna say hundreds, probably thousands. Face adversities. I do today. It's not rosy. And I just know I'm being tested. I just know I'm being tested. So many times if you guys know my story, haven't seen my bio, the new people, you should go. Somebody put the link in the chat, please. The bio of Ramin Mesgarlou is half an hour. It's going to help you out. Watch that and to see my background. I talk about some of the adversities I've had. And, I was told to jump ship and I just wouldn't do it. I know that I was being tested. You are being tested. You will be being tested. If you haven't, you will be. Don't worry, you will be. And this is when you need to be 100% tough. 100% tough. You cannot be a 93% tough. It's not enough. It's not enough. You can't be a 71% tough. It's not enough. It'll take you out. When you're only 55% tough is when you quit. When you are 82% tough is when you're not consistent. When you're 95% tough is when you get discouraged and cold, and so you got to be 100% tough. In forensic, I talk about that. Say, hey, you know, you got to be 100% in. What percent? Put in the chat. What percent? 100% in. Not a 99%, not 95%, not 80%. Because if you're 80% tough in, the sunblock can take you out of the game. The bad phone call comes in. When you're 95% in, you're discouraged, or somebody steals your religion from your business and take you in their business because they were 100% in their business, and you were 95% in your business, so they take you out. So that's why Daniela says 99% means you're 100% out. Yeah, it's true. 100%. The thing is, it's not hard to be 100% in. You just have to make a decision to be 100% in. You know, I'm going to use a terminology. It's not a vulgar terminology. It's actually a legal terminology, but the lawyers use this in court. It says you can't suck and blow at the same time. It's a legal term. Lawyers use it. Well, that means you can't take both sides of the same argument at the same time. You can't be in and not be in 100%. Can't. You're in, you're in. If you're 100% in, you don't use the products that you have yourself when you go buy it outside. Supporting someone else's mall, paying their rent, when your mall needs its monthly spark buys and inventory, you need funding to do trade shows. All that funding that you need to promote your business, you're giving it to someone else's store because buying their stuff, right? Doesn't make sense. And along the way, you're going to have weeks that everything goes bad. You're going to have weeks that everything goes bad. And the next week, everything goes right. Or other weeks, everything goes right. I call them peaks and valleys, right? Here's a tip for you. You know when you're being tested, because it always happens when you're alone without any help around you. So when adversity hits you in the face, when you get a kick in the teeth and no one's around, you're alone, you've been tested. No lifeline. Swim. Swim or sink. That's when you know you've been tested. No one's there that could take your hand. By the way, that's when everybody else, the rest, stops swimming. So how long do you swim? Just a little bit longer than they did. So the next time you're having a pity party because you're having adversity and no one's around you, remember what I just said. Look upstairs, give God a Ramin look. You can even use my line. You got some sense of humor. Okay, bring it on. Let's go. He's testing you. So you're going to have a week, things go bad. You have next week, things go good. The issue we have, I think why people quit is this. When things go bad for us, we tend to think that this is unique to us. Like it's only for us. It's only happening to us. In MLM, when things go bad, you start to doubt yourself. You start to think, well, maybe it's not made up for me. Maybe I'm not that person. Maybe I'm different. My people are different. My country's different. My religion's different. My color is different. My education is different. You start to come up with all these excuses. Instead of thinking, this is the normal path to success. Well, everybody who hit the target had to go through. I mean, we see the target, like we see it, it's there. If you have to get through it, you see it. Along the way, you got to go. But that's not how we think. We think, well, maybe I'm not cut out for this. And you think that because you think all these bad things are happening, and it's only happening to you. Maybe because you're not cut out for it. And that's not true. It has nothing to do with it. Just that the only difference between you and the one that is cut out for it is your pain tolerance. If he has a high pain tolerance to get there, raise yours. That's all. Raise yours till you get there. I can tell you in my years going through the peaks and valleys of life. I mean, look at this, 35 years, it's 10 o'clock, I'm at the office, right? Right? And I love my life. I mean, I wouldn't do anything. I mean, it's like, I love working, I love contributing, to me, I don't know any other way. I don't know any other way. I wrote in my book, life is not about achieving happiness, it's about happily achieving. Life is not about achieving happiness, it's happily achieving. It's always about the next, the next, the next. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have that next. So I'm always going to have that next. For you, it's that next rank in opulence. That next target. But to get there, you gotta understand. I can tell you the door to success only shows itself, only appears during the adversities. You can never see the door to success unless you're knee deep in it, in adversities. You can only see the door to success when you're inside adversities, when you're about to quit. That's when the door to success comes. It never comes when things are going well. The door to success, you may feel the success, but the door to success is not there, because success comes after lots and lots of getting muddied and bloodied along the way. So if you're having issues, just know the success is around somewhere. Maybe around the corner. Maybe it's too foggy and too rainy, too snowy. And maybe it's just on the other side of the fog. You have to go through it. Most people will quit and they never get to see the door for success. So always remember this. There's only two concepts: tough wins and soft losses. Tough wins and soft losses. It's that simple. Because winning is not easy. It's not soft. Winning is hard. Winning is tough. But what's wrong with tough? What's wrong with tough? Embrace tough. It's worth it. It's not soft, it's not easy, but it's worth it. So tough wins, soft losses. People always say, okay, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do this. And they mean it at the moment. They mean it. Only then till the next adversity, then they bail out. I don't know, maybe I've done this for too long, I don't get it. Because to me, it's as clear as daylight. I have some problems, and I see a light at the end of the opulence tunnel. I see some solutions there. It's called a compensation plan. It's called a product line. So that's what I have. I don't have anything else. That's all I have. What does quitting get me? It just closes that light at the end of the tunnel. How does that make any sense? It's like you're walking, you're thirsty, and you're weak, and you're in the desert, you're walking, and you could see where the town is, or you're swimming in the ocean, and you're tired, but you could see where the island is. And you have two choices. Keep swimming no matter how tired you are, or sink or die. Right? Because living in 30, 40, 50 years, the life you don't want to live, that's got to be a lot harder than pushing really, really, really hard for 5. And then after that, you could just enjoy the rewards and pass that on. Pass on your success. Pass on that the knowledge, the experience. Support other people. Show them the way. What the greatest thing when you made it, and every single day you pass it on to that next person who wants to follow your path. And so it's got to be better to go towards the light at the end of the opulence tunnel than stay where you are, if that's not where you want to be. So for the few who have decided to become the mental warrior, to have a high pain tolerance, and the many that still need to make that decision, now, let me just say that I welcome you, I encourage you, I congratulate you once you've done it, I congratulate you once you want to do it. In forensic, we call these champions mental warriors. So raise your pain tolerance and become a mental warrior. With that, I'll pass it on to our fearless executives, and we can close the call.
Wow, CEO Ramin, something got stirred up here, and this is actually a wake-up call for me, and probably the rest of the people that are here today. Yeah, and I can see a lot of wonderful messages coming in our chat box, and this is something that we really need, especially if you have a big goal, a big promise list that you wish to accomplish. This is a very important subject matter that we need to always consider and learn from.
Rico, we always say that we can be on these calls all the time, and every time you will get something that it will trigger, meaning you were ready to hear it. And I love these calls as well, Ramin, because we get inspired on ourselves, to, shape up where we are. Where do we want to go? What are the challenges that we're facing? And am I ready? Like, what are my pain points for tonight, right? So I love it. And I was looking at the chat, Rico, everybody was like sharing. So I love it. So the question for you all tonight, are you 100% in?
Yes.
Right? Awesome. Thank you for that, Ramin.
And one of the things that got stuck with me is the next. It would be very hard for us to overcome these pains and struggles that we have if we don't know the next. Where are we going, right? So that's why it's very, very important to be clear on your goals, your promise list, and your vision, so as to know that there's something ahead that you want to accomplish. And And I put them in my notes here. Your pain tolerance will determine how far you can go, right? So it will determine whether you want to move forward through the pain or you want to get stuck with it. It's up to you.
Well, you know, this happens in this group. You can test it right now. There are people in the same group that go further than the uplines. It's the same team, it's the same company, same comp plan, same product. What happened? They had higher pain tolerance. That's all. They didn't stop, but the upline stopped. So we have people in this company that way surpass the upline's income. Yeah. What happened? They had higher pain tolerance to stay more consistent. So that's all it is.
Yes. Amazing. And yes, I keep on seeing a lot of, motivational, should I say motivational messages in our chat box. I think it really awakened a lot of our partners here when it comes to, how to overcome this pain and struggles that, we are all facing.
We need to increase our pain tolerance and make sure more people get on these calls. So that means you need to increase your pain tolerance to make some calls, get your people on, your first generation at least, right? And then we raise our pain tolerance and get it to second generation. We should have hundreds of people on these calls because truly it will triple your CB. So, let's put some effort into this. Right? Let's put some effort into this.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ramin. To the billion, Rico. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, everyone. To the billion. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.